Thought I'd make another video here, hopefully to help some new players. As I think of things as they come to me, I'll just try to make videos on them. There's so much that you begin to take for granted after you get used to doing things. And I've previously mentioned what kind of companions to use. Um, I want to show using a DPS companion, and I'm a healer. I will use a DPS or tank companion as a healer. In this instance, I'm going to use a DPS companion. This is Nadia Grell. She uses a saber staff, a double-bladed Darth Maul type lightsaber, and she does very high damage. The Sith Warrior gets a companion, Jace Wilson. She's almost the carbon copy of Nadia Grell in terms of abilities. She uses the saber staff. They're probably the two highest damage companions in the game right now. Um, but they don't hold threat. They're not a tank, so the enemies may well come after you. It can make a chaotic situation. I'll show something else of that with multiple enemies maybe. What I'm going to do now is do this one daily quest here where you fight a gold elite, and I'll show you kind of how this works. I do heal my companion. I mean, I'm a healer. Some people think it's silly. Oh, you heal your companion. What's silly about it? If I were a DPS, I would do all DPS, but I'm not, so I'll do a little of both. Why let my companion die? And then I just don't get it. If you want to, it's fine. If you want to just throw your companion away, it works. You know, it's just not me. I feel I'm going to use my class abilities. I'm not going to try to do a whole lot of damage because I have very few damaging attacks. My strength is not DPS since I am a healer spec. So I'm going to keep my companion with as much health as I can and throw damage in when possible. Something that is very useful, and I'll show you here as soon as we go in this instance, you want to look at your enemies and notice if you target someone, right now I'm targeting my companion, it shows the buffs she has. She basically has my buffs. It tells me what stance she's in. She's in exsanguination stance, the bleed stance, a damage over time stance. If I look at myself, I can even target myself and it shows me what I have. Same thing will happen with an enemy. And I think this gets to be important, particularly when you get into fighting champions and sometimes even golds and silvers. There's a golden here. They will have buffs on them, or they may have something that applies a debuff to you, and it can be a guide as to what you can or cannot do, should or should not do. This boss in here, since it's a daily, I've done this before. Let me target her. There she is, Kell Dragon. This buff she has, unshakable, cannot be interrupted. All right. Now it helps you to know that. You now know that she's going to have something. It tells you right away she's going to have something that you're going to want to interrupt, and you're not going to be able to. Now, I'm going to heal through this attack that she does. Where up close, I could use a stun, and a stun will work somewhat like an interrupt. It will freeze them for 4 seconds, and then they'll probably start channeling the ability again. But they are close range. Now I'm a ranged class, so I'm going to stay away from her if I can. And my idea is this: I use force barrier on me and my companion. It's just par for the course for playing this class. It's part of how it works. My companion is also light armor. She can take no damage. She really is not good at taking damage. She's good at dealing it. So I'll keep myself and my companion healed and protected, and I'll throw some damage onto the boss there when I can. And since she cannot be interrupted, I'm just going to heal through her crap. And there's also another ability that you will have as a DPS player or as a healer, and this is a detaunt or an aggro drop or a threat drop, depending upon who you speak to. They'll call it something different. It is called Cloud Mind on the Jedi Consular. Now, I may very well steal threat from my companion because I will be healing and doing damage, and she has no taunt. She only has the threat that is inherent to her damage. So when you have two DPS characters, or a DPS character and a DPS companion, aggro is very easily switched back and forth between the two players, or the player and the companion, and she may actually come after me. If she does, I'm going to try to drop my threat with that and see if it works. It usually does, sometimes it doesn't, and if not, since I'm a ranged class, I don't want her on top of me. I'm going to try to knock her back, and my saber attacks do nothing. They're very, very, very weak on Sith Sorcerer, Jedi Consular. They're purely ranged classes. They have these vestiges of melee attacks from their days on Korriban and Tython when they were basically a melee base class. But once you pick your advanced class and you go Sage or you go Sorcerer, your saber really just deflects things that are shot at you, thrown at you, and it possesses stats. Well, she's starting to get angry up there. Let us see. Alright, I'm going to armor us up. This one heal also gives an armor buff. I'm going to start out with that and send her in, and here we go.
You picked on the wrong people.
Now there she goes. I really can't stop that. Alright, I'm going to put that back on my companion. Force armor back with me. And by doing this, I'm managing the cooldowns. My cooldowns roughly match. Just put a heal on myself there. There, now I did it, and we came out with basically full health. And, I mean, if you don't want to, if you want to finish with your dead companion and yourself at two points of health, some people enjoy that. They want everything to be a death-defying struggle. Every victory must be skin of the teeth, and that's all right. I mean, a long time ago, I was kind of that way. I wanted everything to sort of be ultra difficult, or make it ultra difficult if it was not ultra difficult. But I now just find that a little pointless. I mean, you learn you can do it. Why do it all the time? I don't know. But that's how I play a healer with a DPS companion. I didn't pull threat that time, so I didn't need to use my aggro drop. I will probably just keep making little videos, and when things turn up that seem like they illustrate a useful point, I'll make a video on YouTube of it. And that's about all for this. Just wanted to kind of show what it's like using a DPS companion and a healer. If you play a healer, I find it useful to use the abilities, just like I think that I want a companion that complements my abilities. I want to use my abilities. So yeah, if I'm a healer, I'm going to heal my companion. And it's just another way of looking at what I said before. I want my companion to complement me, and me to complement my companion.